Welcome back to We the People. You know, April is the month of the military child, and joining me right now is Florenza Lee, author and publisher of children's books that explore themes and experiences children of military parents often have. Welcome to the broadcast, Florenza Lee. Good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you as well.
Good to see you here. You use your own experiences as a military spouse and parent to influence you to write stories that children can plug into.
Yes, my husband served 31 years in the Army, active duty, and we have two amazing daughters. They're grown now. They're 35 and soon to be 37. And when I started writing, I realized that there weren't any books that were available to really address some of the concerns that they had when they were growing up, being military children.
What kind of thing, and you got a couple of books with you here, what kind of things do the children have to face being the child of a military parent who may be overseas or may be deployed somewhere else in the United States even?
Yeah, there are a lot of stressors. I like to think that the majority of the emotions are positive. There's so much pride knowing that your parent is in uniform serving our government, serving our nation, but with that comes separation. Also with so many deployments, sometimes our veterans and our service members are coming home with physical injuries. Oftentimes they come home with injuries that we don't see. And so there are a lot of things that even though our children may not be talking about them, they're definitely experiencing them.
You brought a couple of books with you today that one of them intrigues me. Welcome Home Daddy, Love Lexi. Tell me about Welcome Home Daddy. That pretty much says it all, doesn't it?
Yes, that actually is my husband's favorite book. It is truly a love story between Lexi and her dad. Her father is deployed. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight in there were all the different ways that the child stays in touch with the parent while they're deployed. In this particular book, the father does return home with a physical injury. And it's not a sad book, it's not a boo-hoo book, but it does show how life changes and the resiliency of our children.
How do you balance that? Do you find that balancing point of entertaining young readers and yet telling them the story, a serious story at the same time?
I am an avid reader. Reading saved my life. And so when I started writing, actually I was 50 when I wrote my first book. I have 30 published titles now. My books are interactive, so the child has to guess something, find something, discover something, answer something throughout all the books, and so that entertainment factor is there. At the same time, I am a storyteller by nature, and so the stories are so gripping, they're so inviting that the child just wants to find out what's happening next.
In this book right here, this time next year, I just want to read a little bit. Well, just read it if you don't mind if I read a little bit of your book.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Ian. My dad is in the military. I am proud of my dad and all that he does to protect our country. Dad loves serving, but says it can also be stressful at times. This gets right to the point in this book right here. That's
right
what you're
to the point.
That's what you're trying to do.
Yes.
Do you find sometimes that children don't know exactly how to express their feelings of what they're feeling?
Yeah, I do. I find that it's not just difficult for adults, but also for children. They're having these really big emotions and not necessarily outlets on how to relay what they're feeling. And so they can do that when you have titles like this.
Yeah, and your daughters play a role? Your children play a role in your writing of your stories?
You know, my daughters are phenomenal. I know every parent says that, but my girls are just magnificent. And I do have them to read the titles to see how they would have responded to them, were they to be reading them when they were younger.
Well, let me put some information on the screen. People can find out more about what we're talking about with Florenza Lee. You live right here in Northeast Ohio, too.
Yes, we're in Chagrin Falls, in that area, so yeah.
It's a local woman right here. The first viewer to email us, wethepeople@wkyc.com, with the subject line, "Thank you, veterans," wins copies of Florenza's books. Wins copies of both of these books, so you might want to keep that in mind. This is what it's all about, is helping the kids over that spot,
Yes.
over that bump, over that hump. And it does, and does it help also the military person who is serving as well?
It does. And I do want to say that for the listeners, they may be thinking, you know, we're not a military family. But what these books do is they offer opportunities for dialogue, for discussion. It offers opportunities for the children to grow their resilience, to grow their resolve. All of my books focus on mindfulness. And so even if it's not a military family, they can still benefit from the books.
And your husband spent years in the military.
He served 31 years,
So
yes.
you got the kids over here, you got dad over here,
Yes.
the father over here, and a little bit of stress on both ends.
Yes.
Yeah, being away, but everybody's together now.
Yes, we are a proud military family,
I
multiple
love that.
generations.
I love that. And I'm military myself, but I didn't have any kids when I went off a long time ago. Well, many thanks for being on the broadcast, Florenza Lee. And you can contact Florenza by going to florenza.org and follow Florenza on social media as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tell your daughters we said hi, and your husband, tell him thank you for your service.
And thank you for yours.
Glad to do it. It was my honor.